So joining us now is Adesua Giwa Osage with stories trending around the world. Hello, Adesua.
Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Aya.
Morning,
It's nice to be back here.
Good to have you back.
And we're starting today on a very happy note. Let's begin what's trending with the biggest story in Nigeria. And of course, that's the wedding of Nigerian musician David Adeleke, popularly known as Davido, who tied the knot with his longtime partner Chioma Rowland, fondly known as Chef Chi, in a grand ceremony in Lagos on Tuesday. The crème de la crème of Nigerian society gathered at Harbour Point in Victoria Island to witness the union of the beloved couple. The star-studded event boasted an impressive guest list, including former President Olusegun Obasanjo, the Ooni of Ife, Oba Enitan Ogunwusi Ojaja II, and several state governors, senators, and celebrities. The hashtag Davido 2024 took social media by storm, captivating fans worldwide. Let's take a look.
She don't give me something, Roja over. I don't even tell you, governor, like she do me karashika. Make I no feel liver, me way be John Cena. I say, I swear you mine, die. Baby girl, now you be God design. But like, as your face they show, now show your shoe design. Now you gonna be my wife, you got to be my wife. For you I paid the price, yeah. Oh Gigi, oh my. Okay, come on, Lulu fair, local I need your life for my. I'm fem genyeki obi muhimani maka. Plenty kele from my life, now you I choose. I don't dare wonder if everything I close. If I do you wrong, my baby boo, I'm sorry. You say I get too many girls, that's one a story. But now you in my mind, I swear, say now you in my mind. I swear I know the lie, I dream about you all the time. Cause girl, you blow my mind, and I know 59. Girl, you do me bad, yeah.
I mean, what a truly amazing event. I was so excited seeing the acts there. Olamide was there. Yeah. I saw Nato C there. We also had the crème de la crème. I think it's so beautiful to see such a display of love. Particularly, you can tell his family was welcoming his bride in. Chioma, you could tell that she is a member of their family, the Adeleke family. I think it's lovely to see them happy. They are a couple that has been through a lot, particularly in the public eye. But I think yesterday's event was absolutely wonderful and lavish, and there she is receiving a new car, I'm sure, with a lot of gifts. I'm sure they got a lot of gifts yesterday. What do you think?
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo was there, former governor of Akwa Ibom State. I just saw him there as well. Also, we saw Tinubu, the first son of Nigeria. So many, star-studded, and so congratulations, Davido 2024. I have to say that everyone loves a beautiful love story, and obviously there are mixed reactions, but I'll concentrate on the positive people on social media. Definitely perhaps one of the number one trending topic yesterday. Definitely. Even if you didn't want to attend as an online guest, you were flooded by pictures if you visited social media, so you just had to be a part of that ceremony. Davido, Grammy Award nominated, so he had to do it big, he had to do it large, and then he comes from a big family of superstars. His uncle is the governor of Osun State, Governor Adeleke, and it was beautiful to see both of them just connect. People were saying, this is the real father of Davido.
Yes, they vibe together so well. So excited.
Definitely. I commented to someone yesterday about family values. I just really enjoy watching the Adelekes and the way that, at least to us in the public eye, their family dynamics works.
Yes.
I love how they seem to be respectful, honoring, and pushing one another, supportive of one another.
Definitely.
We saw that pair with B from B-Red to Nico's leaving. All of them turned out and were really, really supportive of Davido. Now, Chioma was a resplendent bride. And by the way, it was the FAR events. Funke Bokno Bruce is the FAR events that produced this event. And it was, the beautiful outfit and the culture on display.
Definitely.
The wedding industry in Nigeria has gone beyond celebrations. It's also an opportunity for talents to be showcased, not just to the Nigerian audience, but to the African and international audience. Tubu Bereni did a lot of her outfits. Kuto by Tabik as well did her first, this red one that she's wearing here. Ugomoye did Davido's outfits. It's an opportunity because if you look at or listen to other parts of Africa, how they watch our weddings.
Yes,
and
even
get
the
ideas.
makeup banks,
fantastic work. So an opportunity for a showcase of vendors, not just for the bride herself or the groom, but also for her wedding guests as well. So all in all, I know a lot of people smile to the bank in terms of photography, making the food, the decor.
I know Kewa's Kitchen did a lot of the food.
Salt Lagos was also part of the, did the dessert. So it was the crème de la crème of the events industry.
Definitely.
And they put a great show up. I wish them all the best. I hope that, all the things they face in the public eye, it's now time for marriage. They say wedding is one day. The marriage itself is the real work. But beautiful show and display on there. Congratulations to the Adeleke and Rowland family.
Definitely. Rufai, are you one of the online in-laws of Davido?
Yes. I'm so happy, because he's been through a lot.
Yeah.
We don't want to rehash the very sad memories, but he's been through a lot. And it's not also easy when you're in the public eye, So he's had to learn. He's had to grow. He's had to go through a lot, There's no how. There's no one size fits all of how you'll be a judge in the public eye.
Definitely.
Some people love you, some people hate you. It's just incumbent to you to keep doing what you are doing. And that wedding really showed it. I mean, the rest was the array of stars. Goodness me. I mean, I saw Cubana Chief Priest, Tinubu, all of them. And see, also one thing I saw yesterday, for all of you that kill yourself over politicians, across political divide, they came together.
Yes.
They hugged.
Yes.
Because I keep telling people there's only one elite class in Nigeria. It's elite class and the rest. So people should understand that. But also, Ayo, you talk very rightly about the industry. Things like these are things that we should now morph into a bigger industry.
Yes.
When the Beckhams did their wedding, they sold the rights to the pictures.
Yes.
These are things that we can package for television.
But I think also that even though there are definitely things we can package, particularly the vendors, I think there is value that we don't commercialize too many aspects of our cultural and traditional heritage. And I think that that's one thing they did beautifully yesterday. You could see and feel the family and the love, just from the videos. So you could feel a lot of that.
Yes. But how do we now intend? I'm really excited. Both of you mentioned most of the vendors, they got it. And that also trickled down into the commercial ecosystem in this country.
Yes.
But how do we now package this for the bigger picture? See, Davido is a world superstar. Let's not deceive ourselves.
Yes.
If the likes of Michael Jackson's marriage made international glossy magazines, I don't see why Davido's marriage cannot make international glossy magazines.
We'll see
so it's about
next.
the packaging and how we can sell. Because just like I was talking about the Ojúde bar every time I see things like this happen, I see money, I see opportunity, I see possibility. But most importantly, the words of Davido to his the parents of Chioma were supreme. I'll protect her, I'll respect her, and I'll connect her. Davido, trials and tribulations will come, but remember always the promise you made to Chioma's parents.
Beautiful. Well, on that note, we are going to go on to our next story. From a happy story of celebration to the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, who has denied vowing to secure new presidential aircraft for President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima, despite the ongoing cost of living crisis in Nigeria. However, his statement did not make it clear whether he supports the purchase of new aircraft for the President and the Vice President. The presidential air fleet, which includes 10 aircraft and is larger than most domestic airlines in Nigeria, continues to be a significant financial burden to the Nigerian public. The federal government allocated 12.7 billion naira for the fleet in 2023 supplementary budget, in addition to the initial 13 billion naira, and has earmarked another 20.5 billion naira in the 2024 budget. Now, Senator Akpabio's denial comes after the House of Representatives Committee on National Security and Intelligence asked the federal government to purchase new aircraft for President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima. Now, let's listen to the Senate President as he declares this story propaganda.
To dispense the rumor that you are hearing that the Senate President said that he will buy a brand new plane for the President and the Vice, irrespective of the fact that Nigerians are hungry or whatever. I never said that. I was actually in Tanzania, in Zanzibar. So this is the handiwork of propagandists and people who never see, and feed columnists who never see anything good in what we are doing. Just be rest assured. Pray for the government, have patience, and be assured that the combination of Tinubu and Shettima will bring wealth and prosperity to all.
Well, I think that was masterful deflection by the Senate President there, because he's denying making the statement, but he's not denying the cocoa of the matter, which is whether or not you are planning to purchase new presidential planes for the president and the vice president. We have a fleet of 10 planes. We have a plane that should, even if it was a commercial aircraft that was flying every day, should last 30 years, but it was just purchased under the Obasanjo regime. So now you need to ask the question to our Senate President needs to answer, do you have this plan in place? The House Committee has released a statement. Answer us directly instead of talking about propaganda or the fifth columnist or whatever. I don't know.
Did you not?
God bless you for that. And I said that intently. Ayo. See, this is grand scale deflection, like you said rightly. Guess what? In the supplementary bill, there are sources. The Cable just reported now that in the supplementary bill that they want to take this year, they are already putting those costs in there. Guess what? They have gone ahead to get an American company to help them sell the jets that they claim were all serviceable. And those jets, there are some other industry experts in the division that are saying, you can't say those jets are already unserviceable. So there's still contention as regards it. What he did was textbook. It was not Akpabio that said, so he was deflecting, knew what he was doing. The committee that read the resolution, where we are going to be waiting for Senate President Akpabio is, when it comes in a supplementary budget, are you going to sign it or not? This was the same presidency when Mr. Byron Onuga came out to say the most insensitive thing in the world, that say, oh, do you want our president to die like those of Malawi and Iran?
We need emotional intelligence.
So there's no emotional intelligence, there's no tact. But they have gone ahead, it was reported in this over the weekend, to get a company to sell off the other ones, to clear out some more finance, to be able to buy the other one. At a time where people are suffering. And this government is bored, and this is what I keep insisting. So I wanted to respond to what I couldn't respond earlier today. Mr. Wale Edun was saying that in dollar terms, our debt has reduced. Yes, it will reduce because you're using more naira to chase dollar. But based on what you have collected in naira, it has increased to 24% between December and March. Not even based on what we've collected recently again. Between December and March, on the bond market alone, we collected 20.1 trillion. Cumulatively, we are collecting close to 24 trillion. The DMO chief, Ms. Onoga, she said that herself. So the reason why the debt will reduce in the dollar terms is because you're using more naira to chase dollar. But in terms of what we're collecting in the domestic market, the debt has gone up. This has never been seen before. President Tinubu is collecting money and collecting money so hard. Sometimes I think it's, what is it called? The money doubler. The debt doubler. That's what he is. Collecting debt so much.
Oh, I think we're going to return on this issue of debt when we speak about the Kenyan story, but let's take another story and then we'll come back there. Well, the residents of Lagos State are crying out in despair as the city's persistent flooding crisis has worsened, leaving them stranded and helpless. The heavy rainfall has seamlessly transformed some roads into rivers, devastating homes and businesses. As the waters continue to rise, desperate citizens are begging for urgent intervention from authorities to alleviate their suffering and find a lasting solution to this recurring nightmare. On its part, the Lagos State government has issued a 14-day removal notice to owners of buildings and structures in the Shangotedo area of Lekki and Okota Isolo, which were built on drainage channels. The Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Mr. Tokunbo Wahab, in a post on X said, "Climate change is real and there is a cholera outbreak. We must know all of these are interwoven. We must be responsible and responsive as a people. We cannot continue to brazenly abuse the environment and expect that there will be no consequences."
Man, what kind of rain is this? This is not rain. I don't think this is rain. This is Freedom Way traffic lights. Abi? Ochiko, where be this? What do you mean that bus stop? What do you mean that bus stop? Ikate bus stop. They say this is Lekki. They say this is Lekki. Is that a Lekki? My dear, make I escape before the boys them go wheel my motor. Man, truly, this is lucky. What's going on?
Now, this incessant rainfall, but also there's human behavior here that we need to call out, because that video was actually posted by the commissioner himself, Mr. Tokunbo Wahab, and he talked about a culvert being blocked. We have people who are building in canal and waterways, you know, they're blocking culverts, and when that happens, the flooding is going to occur. But you mentioned this yesterday in terms of what happened in Lubin.
What happened in Abuja Estate. And now, you know, while we're speaking about Abuja, we didn't know that we're waiting. Lagos was waiting for us here. So my way home yesterday, you know, the rain had been falling very heavily for, it's overnight, and it kept on going. And so the roads were in a horrendous state. And then seeing reports, videos, comments by people around the state, you know that it was a really bad situation. But I want to say, Adeswa, that this problem, all of us are part of the problem. So we shouldn't just look at the government. Yes, the government has a role to play in terms of the Lagos state government. By the way, yesterday was Governor Sanwo-Olu's 59th birthday. So happy birthday. And what a way to celebrate your birthday. But it's not just the government's fault. And we have to be truthful on this, in this regard. Number one, who are the people throwing away rubbish that's clogging the drainage in such a way that when it rains, everything the level of rainfall, yes, it was high, it was higher than normal, but if we had proper drainage, it shouldn't have been that bad. Like, cars were literally swimming on the road. Then we look at the impact of it, especially I like that it was highlighted that this is a season where we have an outbreak of cholera.
Yes.
And it's exacerbated by issues like this where there's no access to sanitation or proper drainage system, or where there's sanitary issues in a state. It will make the problem be even worse. And so what would we do? Let all of us take personal responsibility. Let us not begin to put puppy eyes when they are talking about demolishing structures that are on canalways, because we then need to make a choice. Would you rather face the consequences? And by the way, the waste of man hours. Someone said she picked her child up at 2 p.m. and they got home at 10 p.m. within the Lekki axis, not far away. In fact, they say that the wind blew and the fire. We saw the beauty, everything that it was covering. But we either make a decision whether we suffer the hardship of people who have built illegal structures on canals and have them, move away, or every rainy season we come back and complain about how bad the situation of flooding or flash floods in Lagos is. Yes. The second thing is that, can we recycle? We have a lot of organizations who are doing great work with recycling, plastic materials, bottles, single-use plastics. Can we really push that as a state? Because we have to have a holistic response to the unfortunate situation we find ourselves every time it rains in Lagos State. Definitely. This is the center of excellence. Definitely. This is the center of aquatic splendor. Definitely. We cannot allow every time rainfall happens, and we know it happens every year. June to August is going to rain. We cannot lie about it. Then the government itself, in terms of properly structuring the streets and the state to ensure that we're able to allow free flow of water when it rains. Permissions given as well, because we cannot also not talk about that. When you give permissions to building, accountability. The regulatory agencies, are they putting an eye on it and making sure that things are done? Definitely. But at the end of the day, all of us, we are all in this together. It's all our fault. I have to say that.
And the big man syndrome, please.
Honestly.
The big man syndrome is something that's very pervasive. There's a case I've been dealing with for a while. An area is earmarked to be a green area. Some high and mighty people in society, they come, they build on it. The commissioners are aware of this case I'm talking about. I'm going to talk about it on TV now. The commissioner have even intervened that they should stop building on them. The high and mighty people, but they're back there. That's the kind of country we live in. But just by the way, kudos to Governor Sanwo-Olu yesterday. He decided to celebrate his birthday with children with special needs, which was very sweet and all of that. So Governor
Sanwo-Olu, the dream catchers, the children.
And the dream catchers. Yeah. Governor Sanwo-Olu, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
There are implications, so dear Governor.
Well, let's take our last story. But happy birthday to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Now let's end what's trending today in Kenya, where the Kenyan President, William Ruto, has condemned Tuesday's protests, saying that legitimate protests against his policies have been hijacked by a group of organized criminals. He warned that his government would use all means at its disposal to prevent the repeat of violence at whatever cost, after demonstrators stormed Parliament and at least 5 people were killed. In reaction to the situation, Kenya's former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, in a statement urged Ruto to speak to the people, not at the people. The protests were sparked by a controversial finance bill proposing significant tax hikes, which originally included a 16% sales tax on bread and 25% duty on cooking oil. The protests have brought the country to a standstill, with police responding with force, including tear gas and live ammunition. Now, despite the government's partial concessions last week, scrapping some of the tax increases, protests continue to rage across Kenya. Mr. Ruto has argued that the new taxes are essential to control Kenya's debt burden of over $80 billion and avoid a default on its debt payments. And this is why I said we were coming back to debt, and we were coming back to burdens. Part of why this tax was brought up is because they need to increase their revenues. Why? Because they're taking IMF loans. And I feel that Nigerians will look at this, and we might see NSAS there. But something I see also is the cyber crimes levy that was quickly snuck in and quickly taken out. And that's something we need to be careful of. Who was pushing the cyber crimes levy? Because afterwards, we saw, the CBN circular made people look at the CBN, but that money was going to the NSA. And afterwards, the FBI came here. America's FBI director came here to discuss what? Cybersecurity. Now, we need to be very careful when international interests might be put on the burden of people. When government borrows, whether it's the federal government or the state, the Nigerian people are those who are being burdened. Are we mortgaging our future to China or the IMF or the international community? Because that is what Kenyans are fighting right now. The people of Kenya have come out en masse to say that, you know what, enough is enough. We are no longer the ideal colony, the model colony, the settler colony. You cannot mortgage our future and that of our children in order to pay the West.
And this is where you're spot on. Exactly the letter Ngugi wa Thiong'o, the famous Kenyan writer, wrote to Ruto as regards his relationship with America, because in all of this, you also forget that Kenya now, he's going to do police work with the Kenyan police in Haiti. So you can now see the tedious link, and at the same time, Ruto's fat lifestyle, where he spent over $1 million on the presidential trip in one jet. He can't cut his fat lifestyle with that of his family and people around him. It's always at the expense of the people that will pay for his profligacy.
That sounds like someone we know.
And guess what? This has continued, and he's not ready to talk to the people. He's not ready to make concessions. All he did was to get the KDF out, the Kenyan Defense Forces, and now there are stories I'm seeing on Twitter of shooting people dead. You're talking about more than 5 people have been killed. There was a case reported on Twitter, unverified though, that the guy said the woman was coming out from a lockup shop. They pumped over 40 bullets or 30 bullets into one person. So you can now see the madness going on the streets of Kenya with the KDF and Ruto coming out with this air of as though he's some Danny Arab Moye, that you dare not talk, you dare not do this. He needs to go back and negotiate with the people. But like I was saying before, there goes our African leaders again. We thought Ruto was the hope, but look at it today. But even when African leaders want to stand up, the West also uses their fellow colleagues within to destroy them. That reminds me of Thomas Isodure Noe Sankara, that the West used Blaise Compaoré to kill.
Spot on.
What's the problem with Africa?
In terms of I mean, to be honest, when this storybook I just could read international pressure all over it in terms of, and I don't know why we keep falling into this trap on the African continent. When will Africa be free? That's the question that's come up. And there's the phrase Africa Arise. At the Afrexim Bank, the President Benedict Orama, that was one of the conversations we kept talking about. This bondage, this finance bondage, if we don't stand up for ourselves, we'll continue to play into the hands of the West and then kill our own people to drive an agenda.
And
very sad.
Very sad. And I love what you said, especially about about Ruto's flight. Because again, if someone tells you that it's a hard time and you should strap in, it's possibly not the right time to be buying a fancy new jet.
2 jets.
No, not at all.
2 jets.
2 jets. So I think, you know, if we're all strapping in, if economy is really hard, let it show in your own face too.
The rich keep getting richer, and the poor keeps getting poorer and being taxed on their poverty. That's the problem.
It's actually inhumane. But thank you so much.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you, Aya. Thank you. Bye.